You have arrived at the Omniverse.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Woo! Yeah, baby! I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck, in my opinion. I mean...
Hello and thank you for watching this comparison video. I'm Omni and let's get into it. The huge success of Diablo 2 paved the way for many isometric RPGs just like it, such as Torchlight, Path of Exile, and Titan Quest. Let's start with the cinematics. Both Diablo 2 and 3 uses cinematic animation techniques to show high fidelity and detail which look amazing. You hardly see any other studio pull out that level of detail for cinematics. Diablo 4, however, uses in-game graphics. I assume the decision was made to allow playable characters to be included in the storytelling. Personally, I would have loved to see Mama Lilith in high-fidelity glory. Diablo 2 is pretty simple. It's just right and left click for the slotted skills, and you can press hotkeys to switch between more skills you have points into. Diablo 3 has you slotting in skills to keys to use as you fight hordes of monsters, and D4 does the same. The skills trees themselves are a bit different, but we will get into that later. Inventory management for each title is basically the same, but there are different loot or gear mechanics going on. Diablo 2 has runes that you combine to make rune words that give powerful buffs, and charms that are passive with small perks that you leave in your inventory. Diablo 3 and 4 do not have these and have opted for a different approach. Both Diablo 2 and 3 have a set gear in which if you find all the items to a set, the buffs they give make you really powerful. Diablo 4 has done away with this and I do not know why. Finding legendary items and pulling the aspects off of them to put on better gear may be fun but can get messy. Don't even get me started on the microtransactions for the skins. The skill trees for each game are not too complex to understand. Diablo 2 has the simplest of them all. Put a skill point in, and it gets stronger, and may passively enhance another skill on the skill tree. Diablo 3 has skills that you can change the way they behave, such as turning a monk's mystic ally to be attuned to a certain element for certain mechanics. Diablo 4 is pretty straightforward. You select the skill out of the node and select their passive as you level up and get stronger. I like the simplicity of Diablo 4's system, but I feel there are skills on the tree that are useless. Diablo 2 and 3 were no stranger to this either. Future patches may fix this. Let's talk endgame. Diablo 2's endgame is pretty much killing Baal in hell difficulty and running a thing called Ubers. An Uber run is a dungeon in hell difficulty that has 20 bazillion bosses of the same type running around in a small dungeon. It's pretty scary seeing several Andariels coming at you when your gear isn't perfect for the job. I may add that there's also a secret cow level that you can get. Diablo 3 endgame comes in the form of rifts and torment difficulty tiers. The rifts are randomized dungeons that are timed and give great rewards for completing them. It's so fun running through these at lightning pace. Diablo 4 has nightmare dungeons and hell tides, along with Uber Lilith at the end. To be honest, I felt like the grind for Diablo 4 was too much and I couldn't get to the end. Diablo 4's gameplay can get boring in comparison to Diablo 2 and 3. It's slower, and I think the reason behind that is the poor scaling and character growth speed. In conclusion, I think no game can match how great Diablo 2 was and is. It knows where to be complex and where to be simplistic in design. Diablo 3 still has that style in a way, but I feel as if it got even easier. There seems to be a trend going on here. Diablo 4 is overall very easy to understand when reading gear stats and bonuses, selecting which skills to use. The open world with enemy level scaling and the dull aesthetic of the game turns me down for it though. Too many dungeons look the same. Both Diablo 2 and 3 have such diverse environments between each act. You hardly notice any diversity in Diablo 4 for some reason. It's gotta be the hue or the tint of the game. I just don't know what it is. If you were ever on the fence about choosing between these three games, I would say play Diablo 2. You can't beat the classic. Diablo 3 is great as well, but would look for a sale. I would like to add that I kind of regret ever purchasing Diablo 4. It's just not, it just doesn't have that feeling. Diablo 4 is just getting really boring to me. I really couldn't finish it after I got to the end of the campaign. Doing nightmare dungeons and hell tides was just a slog. Having to formulate a strategy on every encounter made the game really tedious. In Diablo 2 and 3, you can wipe through enemies, but you'd come across like an elite enemy at some points and have to slow down, of course, but killing those guys gave you some really good loot. There are other great Diablo 2 clones out there. I would say, if you haven't tried Path of Exile, try it. Don't let these passive skill trees scare you. It is pretty simple to understand. You can't really mess it up. Diablo 4 is definitely one of those overrated games. It's not bad by any means, but it doesn't I don't think it deserves the praise that it has or had at the start. And people are starting to realize how the game has not been that great, and now Blizzard is now trying to fix this game as fast as they can, trying to make more builds viable. But there's going to always be some influencer to tell you which meta you should be playing now, and if you play anything different, you're wasting your time. It feels like there's nothing to do, really, after you finish the campaign on Diablo 4. Sure, there are nightmare dungeons and hell tides, but it's all the same. It's really just a bad grind.
Embrace your power, and you will survive.
I will return.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. It helps me and it will help you when I post new videos. Catch you later.